Hey, what's going on everyone? Laggy Gamer here. Sorry I've been gone for a little bit, but things have been hectic. A lot of things going on at work. And I actually did have this video recorded earlier, but my son started walking, so I had to quickly erase it off the camera and record him walking. And I just hadn't had the time to go ahead and record this again. So this is it. This is the second take on it. What this video is a review of Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume. This is a Nintendo DS game made by Square Enix. It's pretty much a tactics, grid-based strategy game. I really enjoyed it, so I figured I'd give you guys my thoughts on it and just pass on the word, because maybe you would enjoy it too. First off, what I'll do is just I'll read the back, because if I do that, that'll pretty much just let you know what the story is, and we'll just start from there. Pretty much says that the time has come to reap vengeance on the Valkyrie who claimed the soul of Wilfred's father. Armed with the sinister power of the Destiny Plume, he is faced with a life-altering decision. Will he succumb to the darkness in order to exact his revenge? On the crimson-stained battlefield, victory belongs only to true tacticians of war. So pretty much the story of this game is Wilfred, your main character, his father gets killed, but the easy interpretation of it is a Valkyrie, kind of like you just want to relate that to death, just takes his soul, and pretty much he wants to get vengeance on this Valkyrie, because even though death took it just means that his father died, so he's sad his father died. Basically, when someone dies, you'll see a plume come out of their body, and that way they know, oh, he's moved on to the afterlife, they're dead. So pretty much I just think that Wilfred's upset that his father is gone. I believe also his sister was killed in the game as well at the beginning. You don't see it happen, but that's pretty much I think what's understood. And he's just upset about that and wants to get revenge on it. Really early on, Wilfred, action happens to him where he actually is revived by the plume. And in that little sequence he meets this kind of a maiden chick, who pretty much is a little person on your shoulder who maybe only you can see and hear, who's guiding you and trying to tell you what to do. And this girl kind of influences the gameplay, which I'll touch on after we're done with the story here. But the story's not too bad. I really enjoyed it. The whole out for revenge thing has been done before. Pretty much the main storyline was nice. But you run into some side stuff where you're meeting characters, and I wasn't really interested in the character's background, because pretty much what's going on is the country's at war, and he's just wandering around. If someone's in help, he's actually helping out, and that's pretty much how the story goes. One key element is the story I played through might not be the same story you're going to play through. I might have done different actions that's going to make your story play through different than mine. I had a friend buy this at the same time, and ours was already different within 2 hours of the game. So it's pretty cool because it makes you want to play through the game multiple times to get the multiple endings, and I can tell you more about that when we get into the gameplay. But as far as the story, yeah, like I said, it's a good story. Nothing groundbreaking, but kept me interested in the game. The game, as far as it's only about 11 to 12 hours long. That's all it took me to beat it. I beat this a couple weeks ago, only a couple days after I got it. So that's the perfect length for me. I really love RPGs, but a lot of them are 30, 40 hours, and I'm trying to get quick games in and out so I can play as many games as I can with a short amount of time I have anyway. So as far as the story and that being just that length, it was perfect. I guess what we'll go into now is we'll dive straight into the gameplay of this game. And like I said, it's a grid-based strategy tactics game, which means you move a set number of squares, the enemy will move a set number of squares, and you can attack and do your spells or whatever if you're within range of the enemy. Pretty much how battles play out. Right when you start out, the little maiden will pop up and she'll say you're required to get this amount of sin in order for the battle. Well, if you don't get enough sin, I don't know what happens, because I've never not reached my sin amount in a battle. And basically what sin is doing overkill to an enemy. Say an enemy only has 300 hit points. I do 400 hit points of damage to him. I get 100 sin added to my sin total, if that makes sense. So when you go into the battle, this maiden will say you need 300 sin along with the other set objectives to the battle, which could be killing all the enemies, killing the leader, maybe just rescuing someone who's in trouble. But along with doing that, you have to achieve this amount of sin, or if she says something bad will happen. I don't know if anything bad ever happens because I always got the correct amount of sin when I went into battle. But the sin is key. Basically, you want to overkill your enemies. That's one of the main battle strategies of this game, is getting into overkill. And what that means is when you go to an enemy, and like I said, if he's near death, say if they have 300 HP, he's sitting there at 25, you could do one attack with one of your party members and that might do 50. So you'll get plus 25 sin. But if you got 300 sin you need to get, you gotta get a lot of overkill of sometimes a limited amount of enemies. And what you need to do is get your teammates around you, and you can actually do combo attacks. If all your party members can attack, are within attack range of the target, then they'll all attack the target. And pretty much you can rotate a combo in and out between the party members, because when you go into the battle screen, each party member is just selected to one button on the DS. One party member might be able to do 3 hits with Y, another party member 2 hits with X, so on and so forth. And once you reach a certain amount of kills, like you might actually kill the enemy, but you can keep extending your combo, that way you can get the overkill damage for the sin meter. Another added way to get sin into the game for the battle is to go into special attacks. Sometimes you'll pick up a weapon that has a special attack. There's a separate meter at the bottom. When you see the game, you'll see an HP meter for the target that you're going after. The right on beside it is like a little moon shaped. It's like a combo meter, I want to say. When you build up a certain percentage of it, when you reach 100%, you can unleash a character's special attack. If someone has a weapon with a special attack, the screen will flash at the top saying whose special attack do you want to execute. Pick the button, goes into a fancy little show with a special attack. When the attack's over, what's great about it is it also continues to fill that combo meter up. So when that combo meter is up again, most of the time at the end of a special attack, you can have another party member initiate their special attack. It's not limited to just one per target, so you can get 4 special attacks in, overkill the crap out of the enemy, and get tons of sin for that amount of sin that you need for the battle. So it's a pretty interesting concept instead of just going in, killing the person, winning the battle. It's kind of putting in an added objective there to make sure you get that amount of sin to push through with the story and all, push through or make sure you succeed in the battle. Like I said, I'm not sure what happens if you don't get the correct amount of sin. Maybe you guys can let me know. I'm just not too sure. Other than that, the battle's just fairly simple, just like tactics game. Move in, attack them. Sometimes there's bosses that are a little bit harder, and the major key component of the whole game is the plume. You see what happens to your character at the beginning of the game. You get risen with the plume, and basically this maiden says you have the power to use this plume. Any one of your party members, you can use the plume on them and it'll just overpower them where they're unbeatable. No one can take them out. He one hits enemies, one kills enemies through the whole battle. Also, when you do that, it activates a special move that that character has once the plume is put upon them. It might be stun all enemies in the area for 6 turns. It could be it cancels all their magic for the rest of the battle. It's a really good power. Every time I've done it, it had a great power. And that lets you, with further battles in the game, you now have that spell that you can use throughout the game. So if you start up another battle next time, you already used a plume on that guy, you now have that magic power to stun 6 enemies anytime during the match with the next battle. So that's really neat. The only downfall is once you use this plume on a character, that character is going to die at the end of that battle, and they will no longer be in the game. So you're sacrificing this character just so you can win this battle, maybe gain that power, and that's pretty much it. The characters keep coming in and out, so sacrificing a character here and there is not going to hurt you as far as not having enough party members, because you're always meeting new people who can join your party. So in a way, it's kind of encouraging you to do it. But truthfully, you do not want to have to sacrifice any characters, because that leads into not getting the true ending of the game. I played through and I had to sacrifice two or three characters, because there were some fights that were insanely difficult. Not just the boss fights, but there's fights where you have to, if someone's getting attacked off in the distance, you have to try to reach that person and save them before they die. Those were the toughest ones, because I could never get there in time. There were other enemies coming in your way, stopping you from getting there, and the people would always die. So I'd always have to sacrifice a member during those battles just so I could have time to reach the person I needed to save. Those were difficult. I wish there was an easier way to get through those, but there wasn't. I always had to sacrifice someone. That happened 2 or 3 times. Another tough part of the game is in the battles. Pretty much when you reach a boss fight, a boss will do its special attack every time. When it's his turn to attack, he does it every time, which means one of your characters is automatically gonna get KO'd when he attacks. Which, that's kind of messed up. I mean, I wish there was a way that they couldn't do their special attack every time. But what are you gonna say? It's a boss fight. I guess it's supposed to be tough. Luckily, when you go into battle, you're equipped with potions and everything, so you can revive party members. You also have skills you can use in battle. You have pretty much you have a set AP amount, and that AP amount lets you use certain skills during the match. Some stuff could cost 80 AP, and if you only have 100, it's pretty much the only thing you're going to get. But the AP will slowly regenerate every turn. So that's a good benefit. But I didn't find myself using a lot of special abilities a lot of the times. I just went into battle, fought, and that was pretty much all I had to do. One ability I did find useful at those tough fights was stunning all the enemies in the area. And stunning all the enemies, that really gets you a jump on the battle. So yeah, that was a real convenient move to have. Like I said, you didn't really need to use any of the skills, so if you can get through the game without having to sacrifice a player to gain those skills, that's the way to go to try to beat it. Other than that, inventory and equipment, you get equipment easily because you can get a hold of money easily. You can always get the best stuff for your characters. That's not a problem. So you don't have to worry about any of that. But the only downfalls that I can mention for the game is just that if you're looking for a longer RPG, this isn't it. It's a nice short one, but that's how I like them. If you're looking for a deep story, it's not there. It's just your basic cut and dry story. Plot for revenge. The main plot of the story that I forgot to mention is that the whole purpose is Wilfred wants to extract revenge on the Valkyrie for taking his father. So after a certain point in the game, when you've appeased to the Valkyrie by getting enough sin, then you're able to finally have your confrontation with the Valkyrie. So that's pretty much the whole main plot of the story. But the other downfalls that I didn't like were just the one-shot kills for the boss fights, always getting their special attack. I just thought that was kind of cheap. And then those fights where you had to go rescue people, they were just really tough, and trying to get to them without having to sacrifice a teammate was really hard. So for any of you seasoned RPG veterans who can do it, kudos to you. You deserve to get it on first try if you can do it, but it's going to take multiple playthroughs to get it. The other final thing that really bothered me was when you got a special attack. You only had one special attack for your character. Even if you got a new weapon, it was the same special attack for the new weapon. You didn't really get to pick a new attack to do. If anyone else knows any different, just let me know, but that's what I saw, and it was just, I figured you could have threw something else in there to make it more wide and broad. But other than that, that's just nitpicky stuff. It was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. Good game. Graphics weren't nothing like Golden Sun Dark Dawn or anything, but they were good graphics. I'm not really big on graphics anyway. So if you're looking for a short, quick RPG that can get you some replay value out of it with a pretty decent story, go ahead and check out Valkyrie Profile. You can pick it up cheap. It's only like $8 at GameStop. Give it a try. Take a look at it. And I just hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching, and we're lagging out. See you.